Hello, hello! I am so excited to be going live again today, and I'm so excited. I am going live with, I'm just getting her in here now, but we are going to be talking about building a team. And oh my gosh, hi! Hello!
Hello
I'm just going to give
there.
a little introduction to you. So this is Stacey. She is my VA social media manager extraordinaire. She is, I mean, one of the most diligent people I could have possibly had the pleasure of working with. Just staying on top of things when when it's easy for me to drop the ball. So I'm so excited to have you on here, Stacey. We're going to be chatting about building your dream team, how to get super clear on who you need at whatever position you're in your business, and seeing, how you can best structure and delegate things out to your team so that you can move as efficiently as possible in your business. So hello, Stacey. So happy to have you here.
Yay. Hi, Tinli. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you for those kind words about me. You're an absolute dream to work with as well, and I'm so honored to be here today and working with you. So thanks for
my
having
pleasure.
me.
So I would love for you to give a little bit more of an overview of who you are, what you do, how you got here, and then we'll dive into those juicy questions.
Sounds great. So I'm Stacey. Hi, everyone. I'm a virtual assistant and social media manager. I live in Connecticut. And I started my business 2 years ago in 2020 during the pandemic, like many other people did as well. And I absolutely love what I do. I work with female business owners. A lot of them are coaches, and I help them with admin support in their business as well as social media management and support. So Tinli is one of my lovely clients who I'm so grateful to work with. So I do her engagement for her social media and one of her clients' accounts. And yeah, I love what I do. I love the women I work with. I'm so passionate about helping them and about their businesses. And there's nothing I find more rewarding than what I do. So I'm so excited to be here to chat a little bit more with you all today. When Tinli asked me to be here, I was super excited and honored that she wanted to come on with me. So is there anything else you would like to know, or is
That
that
is
good for
awesome for an
intro?
intro, and I appreciate that, Stacey. We've been working together for, was it like
Absolutely.
6 or 7 months, I think now? Near the beginning of this year.
Yeah, since
See,
February.
again, clear indication that you're more on top of things for me, which I so appreciate.
I know, yes, since so about almost 8 months
I
actually, which is
know, I know.
crazy. It's amazing too. I'm so, so grateful to, be working with you. That's like one of the best things about being a VA is having long-term clients that you get to grow with and, connect with and develop really great relationships with. So I'm so excited to be working with
Absolutely. I
you to this
so agree
day.
with you on that too. It's just once you like start working with someone long term though, you really get into a flow of things where, the first few months are obviously a little bit rocky when you're working with anybody because you're still it's like first date style. Like you're just starting to get to know this person, get to know how they work, and then like once you hit the ground running, like, oh my gosh, things just take
Yes.
off from there.
Yes, you nailed it. Exactly. That's exactly how it
Absolutely.
is. It's so much
So
fun.
I want to ask first question. Since we've got me as an online business manager and you as a VA and social media manager, I think one of the biggest questions I get asked is what the key difference between an OBM and a VA is. So, in your own definition, like how would you describe what a VA is?
Yeah, absolutely. So, everyone thinks of virtual assistants in a different way. So, my description is basically someone who starts their own online business as a service provider, working with their own clients of some sort online or remotely. And these clients can and will vary for different people depending on their niche. So they offer whatever services they want to offer to these business owners of some kind, to help support their business and take on any tasks that the business owner doesn't have time for, doesn't want to do anymore, doesn't like doing. So just freeing up their time is a huge part of being a virtual assistant. And so that business owner has more time in their day to do the tasks that they actually do love that will move the needle to grow their business.
Absolutely. And I think the key is a lot of people think that obviously when you're starting out, you have to do a lot of things on your own. Like that's just how it works. But then you realize when you're ready to grow and scale your business, it does not serve you or your business to keep doing those things. It doesn't matter if you're good at it. What really, like you said, what moves the needle, what gets you those clients, what gets you the revenue is when you step out of that daily grind and further into that CEO position where you're just overlooking the vision of the business rather than you're in, you're all you can see is like those little tasks, to move forward. So that is the beauty of having a virtual assistant, is to have someone who comes in there, takes those small, not necessarily small, but like takes those extra tasks off your plate so that you can prioritize your growth. And
yes, you nailed it. That is exactly a great description. I love that.
It helps because I was a VA for a while before I transitioned to being an OBM.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's how you started. So you know better than anyone the journey and what it takes and everything.
And I would say then that was an awesome cover that we just did for VA. And I will say, so for an OBM and I love to do this comparison when I explain the difference between an OBM and a VA, is that a VA is an extra pair of hands that you can get in your business. So you literally just have someone else that's coming in and helping you do those tasks. And an OBM steps in more like a second brain. A second brain and kind of like an ear in the business so that you don't have to do all of the thinking. So a lot of the times when you're working with a VA, it's because you know exactly what tasks you want to hand off to them. You know, like, all right, they're going to create graphics for you. And you already have your brand, your branding guide loaded into Canva, and they just have to pop in there, use your templates, and schedule things out. You know exactly what they need to do. An OBM steps in a lot of the time because you're like, I have this vision. I have this project that I want to create, and I have no idea what goes into it. I kind of know that I need to send out some emails to my email list, and I feel like I should probably be posting to social media, and my God, I don't even know how Kajabi works. How am I supposed to put this course in there? Like, whatever it is, right? So a lot of times that's the beauty of having an OBM, because what they do is they're kind of like the architect for your dream house. So you've got the vision for the dream house, and you don't know where the plumbing goes. Who's supposed to know that, right? So the architect steps in there like, okay, here's what the layout of the house is going to look like. Here's how they're going to construct it. You're like, oh, I love that. Okay, go do that. So that's the beauty of having an OBM. They step in and they create the vision, so you don't have to worry about exactly what steps go in along the way. So they kind of really help with that extra brain power. Then the VA is kind of like the construction worker in a lot of ways. They come in and they actually build the foundation, and the architect kind of oversees the rest of the process. So that's how I love to describe the difference between an OBM and a VA, is because there's we've got the architect and we've got the construction worker, and obviously both roles are very, very important, but in very different ways.
Yes, I absolutely love your analogy there. That is the perfect way to describe it. It's like you're the second brain in the business, and then I'm the worker bee who executes and puts everything into action and does it for the business owner. So I absolutely love that. And I think it's so important to know the difference between an OBM and a VA, because I feel like a lot of people just aren't aware, and they might even think that they're the same thing. So you worded it like perfectly, and I love that you wanted to share that, because like I said, it's so important to know when a business owner is hiring some help, whether they want to go with an OBM or a VA. It's so important to know the difference between the two.
So I would say, if you have, and you can echo this back to me. Hi, Mara. Hello. So nice to see you.
Hi, Mara. Thanks for joining. She's in my coaching program.
That's so awesome. Hello.
Yes. Thanks for being here.
So I would say, and you can echo this back to me, in terms of when someone would consider hiring a VA versus an OBM, When would you say like that ideal moment when they're like how are they feeling? What are they doing to determine, you know, this is the moment, the perfect moment for them to bring a VA on?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's a lot that goes into deciding to hire help as a business owner. There's definitely a lot mentally that goes into it. For instance, I think some people jump into it too quickly, and you really have to think about if you're ready to hire some help for your business. Um, you definitely, as a business owner, you know, you of course want to be making enough, bringing in enough income to, you know, support hiring some help, because of course that person, that VA or such, is going to charge you for their services. So you want to be sure you're financially prepared for that, and to be able to, you know, pay them um, whatever it is that they're charging, so they feel valued and, you know, worthy and wanting to help you there. So I think the financial aspect is definitely something to consider before hiring a VA. And also if they have the time and the commitment that it takes to find someone, bring them on the team and train them, because it's so important when you're bringing someone on your team. You want to familiarize them with, you know, your business, if you have any other members on your team, um, and, you know, you want to get them familiar with everything you're using for your business, any tools, anything, any softwares like that that they need to be trained on and they might not have knowledge in. So it's important that they have the time to really, you know, bring someone on and be willing to train them, kind of like you did for me when you brought me on for your business. You wanted me to, you know, help you with engagement in a certain way. So you kindly recorded some training videos for me that were super helpful. So you're a great example of someone who was ready to hire help, because you had all of the preparations and everything in place that I needed to feel supported as, you know, a member of your team. So I think it's definitely important, before someone hires a VA. Like I said, financially, they need to be ready, and they need to be ready to um, definitely relinquish control on their business to let someone support them, trust that they're going to do a great job. Because I know it can be hard as a business owner sometimes to let go, because it's your business. It's like your child, you know. It's so easy to want to do everything on your own. So realizing that you need help and, you know, trusting that person you end up bringing on to do a good job, without being able to watch over them and micromanage and everything, is so important. You need to be able to trust who you bring on your team. I think that is, you know, it makes a huge, huge difference. So yeah, there's so many different aspects that I think a person needs to consider before they're bringing on someone. And it's also important to find somebody who is knowledgeable and passionate about the industry that they work in. So it's a little bit easier if somebody has knowledge in that industry already, especially if they're going to be supporting them with social media and things like that. So it's definitely great to have someone who has some knowledge and who's willing to learn if they're not knowledgeable. Also, if they don't know how to do what this person wants them to do, being open to being trained and, you know, learning what they should be, helping what they, or what the business owner wants support with. So yeah, it's definitely important to bring someone on that, like I said, is passionate about the business owner and has the best intentions in growing and like managing their brand, is trustworthy, very communicative. Like you want to be able to check in, like I do with you every week, to let the business owner know what you were working on that week. It's super important to stay in touch when working remotely, because that person is not sitting next to you, so they don't even necessarily know what you're doing. So it's important that that person knows to check in, and stay in proper communication, and is not afraid to also ask questions if there's something that they're unsure about, because it's so important to ask the right questions and feel comfortable doing so, in the case of not knowing how to do something, so you don't mess something up. So I think those things and those traits are very important, and definitely something for someone to consider when they're thinking of bringing on a VA to help
Absolutely.
support
And I
them.
love you just dropped so much value there. So I would love to I love it.
My
There was
monologue.
just so much in there, and I would love to recap that and basically say, so when it comes to looking for a VA, like knowing when you're ready. So we have like kind of two questions covered here. One was like knowing when you're ready for a VA and what traits to look for. So to summarize what you had said in terms of how to know you're ready. One of them was, making sure you're financially ready to support that kind of monthly expense for the VA. Because again, as we mentioned, we love when they stay on long term, because that's when we get more and more efficient, and the quality of work just gets better the longer you stay with us. Another one is to make sure that you have the time and resources to train the VA properly, to make sure that you're prepared for if there's something that they don't know, or like, then this way, because obviously we all have preferences for our businesses. Like she had said for me, like you had said for me, it's just like I wanted engagement done a certain way, so I recorded training videos to make sure that it's covered. So I think those were like the two big things in terms of like making sure you're ready for a VA. And then what to look for in the VA. So open communication, huge. I gotta say, I'm horrible at responding. I see every single time you reach out to me, Stacey, but I'm so bad. I should just respond to them. But I so appreciate. So definitely looking for a VA that is open to communication, at least on a weekly basis for sure. Because I know you're really good at doing. You basically do 2 to 3 times a week, which is above and beyond. And then making sure that they are also, they're willing to be trained and that they have flexibility. So whether or not they know something, it's like that they're willing to learn, they're willing to come on board and get to know you and your business more intimately. That's really what we desire in having a VA, is like, even if they don't know everything, because obviously, not everyone knows everything. It's like, if you really want a strong VA, you can bring on someone that may not necessarily know the ins and outs of every single piece of your business or what you do, but if they're willing to learn, that's gold right there. So, and I have I echo that as well for even an OBM. It's the same idea. So I love that. It's such a clear indication. Like, this is what, this is how you're ready for a VA, and this is what you should look for. Is it's perfect for the hiring process. And speaking of which, I'd love to ask, what tasks do people normally delegate first to you? And what do you recommend, like what people should prioritize delegating when they're bringing on a VA?
That's a great question. So I believe that when someone's considering delegating tasks to their VA, like I kind of mentioned before, they want to think about tasks that either are just taking them way too long, that aren't necessarily helping their business to grow, just those tedious, monotonous tasks that they just, don't have time for, as well as tasks that they don't enjoy doing at all that somebody else could definitely take over, that aren't too complicated or too personal. And then also tasks that they just don't find are in their zone of genius and they're just not good at. And because if you're not good at something, you're most of the time not motivated to do it. So finding someone who actually enjoys doing that task is huge. And because they will take over it, and just be so happy to help with that. And you can be rest assured knowing that that task that you really just dislike doing that needs to be done is taken care of and you don't even have to worry about it. So I think those things are really important when prioritizing and thinking of what tasks should be delegated to a VA. In my experience, of course, every client has different needs, but a lot of the tasks that my clients like to delegate to me that they don't have time for, don't like doing, or they're not good at, include admin support, so like email inbox management, calendar management, doing pitching with PR. So if they're trying to reach out to other podcasts to be guests on their show, they don't want to take the time to email those people and research podcasts that they would be a good fit for. So that's something that I would take over and handle the back and forth communication and set up for them. If they need anything organized in their project management softwares like Asana or ClickUp or anything like that, kind of like project management, I will happily set those things up for them to keep everything organized and streamlined so they don't have to worry about it. If there's any research-oriented tasks, like if they need me to research a certain topic for a piece of content they're working on, that's usually huge. And then for social media, like scheduling posts ahead of time or manually posting something, that takes a lot of time out of someone's day. So that is something that my clients like to delegate to me. And then just like you, engagement is huge because engagement takes up a lot of time, at least a half hour a day. And, you know, it's something that is necessary 100% to grow on social media, but it's not something that the business owner necessarily wants to do every day. So as you know, engagement is probably one of the biggest things that I find people outsourcing to VAs for sure. But all of those things in the admin and social media areas are big things, and as well as like sending out emails every week to their email list. Things like that are big things that my clients have delegated to me, and they're things that I enjoy doing that they don't necessarily enjoy doing and just take up too much of their time when they need to be communicating with clients and leads and things like that. So these are the things I'm happy to help with and I love doing. So it's just a win-win situation overall. So that's why having a VA for your business is so great.
And I love that. That is key right there. Is like in terms of what to delegate first, that reoccurring task that's sitting there and makes you feel dread every time you put it on your daily list, that's got to go first. That's got to be the first thing off. And I love that. It is true. It is different for every person because each person has some things that they're willing to hold on to for a little longer as they keep growing versus the stuff that it's like the second it starts draining you, that thing's got to go. And that's why that was one of the very first things, like I started to do that on a daily basis, is doing engagement on Instagram and Facebook. And I just realized, like, I love chatting with people, but if you're going to make me chat with people for half hour every single day, I'm gone. There's no way. It's a lot of energy. And it's true. It doesn't need all of my attention. And that's why that was the very first thing I got rid of, quote unquote. It's absolutely necessary, but it's not something that I wanted to keep on myself. And so that absolutely is huge. And so that is, I think the big recommendation is, like, if you're trying to find tasks to get off your plate, make a list of everything that is your expertise that brings in the money. Make a list of the stuff that you're really good at and that you enjoy doing. And then everything that doesn't make those two lists, put that on one list and see who you can bring on board to support you with that. And I think that's another huge thing too, is they don't have to be quote unquote huge tasks. They can be as simple as email management or scheduling social posts. So you don't have to have like a whole plan of what to give your VA. You can just have this list of like, hey, I've got these simple tasks I want off my plate. Can you support me with this? And they 100% are willing to. There are so many amazing VAs out there, like this fabulous woman I'm talking to, who is more than willing to take these tasks off your plate because she also enjoys them. That's the beauty, right? It's like you actually love to do this. And that was one of the first things you said to me when I was hiring for someone to do the engagement, is like, you were like, I love doing this. And oh my gosh, I love the story too, because like, you were one of the top people on my list and I ended up going with someone else. But I did not forget you, actually, because you mentioned on the form that you love Disney. And that was like the second I needed to hire someone else to fill the role again, you were the first person at the top of my head. So I was like, she said she loved to do this. And she also, like, she connects with me. And it wasn't even with my business. It was with something personal, which I think is amazing. So
exactly.
I mean, there's all sorts of ways you can go with it when you're trying to hire someone. And so it's really just like seeing if you click with them and see if you find someone who, like Stacey, is just open-minded, amazing at communication, willing to learn, and really steps up into the role. Really takes like a leadership position in the role too.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much. You're always so sweet to me and I appreciate it. And I feel the exact same way about you, but it's so true what you said. Like, in addition to me loving doing the work that I'm doing for you, we were able to connect on our call on a personal level. And like I said, I try to show my passion when I'm meeting with someone, so they really know that I'm passionate about what they're doing and supporting them in any way I can, and that I'm passionate about the tasks that, they want help with. And that's why they reached out to me, because they were able to see that. So connecting on a personal level is so, so important with your clients. It's going to make them just so much easier to work with and everything. It's just so much more pleasant. So I really like that you said that you liked me when we connected on the call, because I felt the exact same way. And it's true, because that will stick with you when you're ready to hire. Like, you weren't ready to hire me because you hired somebody else earlier. And then you were able to think of me because we were able to connect on that personal level. So that is just so, so important in working with someone. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, because you really do have to click and you have to see eye to eye and get along in order for it to work, for sure.
Absolutely. I even say, like, when I'm hiring someone, like, if they're willing to learn, I don't need them to know everything or be an expert at it, because I know, like, I can train them on that. I want to make sure I'm connecting with you on a personal level. So that actually is like, that actually feels into my next question, like my biggest do and don't for bringing people on. I would say my do for bringing someone on is prioritize that connection with them. Is like, that really is my part. If they can learn and I can train them, like, I don't need them to be an expert. I want, I'm looking to work with this person in the long term. I want to make sure that I like this person, like, on an emotional level as well, and that we can work together well. And, like, if it's any indication, like, Stacey and I have been working together for like 7-8 months. Like, it's, I'm not, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. So, ego, like,
I appreciate that.
So
I would never leave you, so I really appreciate it. I appreciate you saying that. I have no intention of leaving.
All right, now it all feels good. So yeah, I would say my biggest do is, like, hiring for someone that, like, you bond with on a personal level. And then if I had to say what the don't is for, like, hiring someone, it's hiring someone that you expect to get you, like, in terms of building your team, hiring someone that you expect them to get results for you. The idea of bringing on someone to support you, like, on your team, is to get people that can take over the stuff so you can go out there and get results. If you really want someone who's going to give you new ideas for results, you bring on a coach or someone like that. But even then, they don't guarantee results. The only person that guarantees results in the business is you. And so if you are trying to hire someone who is going to bring in all of the clients for you, I would think about that a little.
Yeah, absolutely.
Results. It is your business, so it is your job to bring that in. All we do is free up more time and even insert some strategy ideas for you if you wanted to consider other options. But as your team, we are not responsible for your results.
Absolutely. That everything you said is just so true. I think that is just so important, for everybody to know, because yeah, I do think a lot of people do. Even from my experience, people I've talked to, they do expect their virtual assistant to get them all these, like, big results in their business and all of these clients, and, like, just like magic. Like, oh, when I hire you, everything is just magically going to work out. My business is going to grow from the start. And, like, that is just not true. That is definitely a common misconception. If anything, your business takes at least, like, 6 months from when you implement a new strategy to see any kind of result. So expecting that from your VA, especially right off the bat, is just so unrealistic, and it is not the right reason, for working with them. If you want results, yeah, in my opinion, like you said, hire a coach or a strategist of some sort, because a VA is just helping you, take over those tasks so you can have more free time to do what you need to do. We're not strategists who are going to get you all these big social media results or anything. So I really, really like that you mentioned that. It's so important to know. And I think a lot of people have it wrong. And, they're the people that shouldn't be working with a VA, because they're in it for the wrong reasons. And they just want, quick growth and everything, and that is just not going to happen. Like, you need to hire a Facebook ad specialist for that or something. If you're, like someone who works with ads, if you want to grow quickly, like, not a VA, that is totally not the right reason to work with someone.
Yeah,
so I'm really
sure.
glad that you mentioned that.
Would you say if you had to choose a do and a don't for someone who's trying to hire a VA, would you say they're similar? Do you have anything else to add there?
I definitely think, of course, I agree with what you said, and being, like I said, ready financially and in different areas is so important. I also think if someone's looking to hire a VA and they don't know where to start, something that they can do is to look to their network. So other business owners that they know, their community, just any other people that they know, they might actually have a referral or a recommendation for a VA that they can work with too. Referrals are, one of the best ways to gain new business. So if you know somebody who has a VA already, and you can just reach out to them and say, oh, hey, would they be interested in helping me? How is your experience going with them? And then, they can refer that person to you. And I recommend doing that first as a starting place if you're not sure where to start with when hiring. Because like I said, you already trust your network, your community, anybody else that you know who's already working with somebody. You already trust them. So, you can pretty much guarantee that if that person's a good fit, then they would, work well with you too, because you already know somebody that you trust. You trust their recommendation. So I definitely think a big do is to, like I said, reach out to your network, see if you know anybody else who has hired a VA in the past or is currently working with one, and get their advice. I think that's huge. And the biggest don't I can think of for hiring a VA is that you kind of said this before. You don't want to expect that person to be available for you any moment, basically like at your beck and call. They're not an employee of yours. You need to realize that VAs typically work with multiple clients, so they are flexible, but they will have times when they're not available because they need to support their other clients as well. And their time and boundaries need to be respected, just as you want yours to be in your business. And I think this is so important to know and bring somebody on with the right mindset, that they will not be available at any given moment unless you're their only client, and you need to respect them. Because I've come across this issue a lot myself from my experience with people I've talked to who wanted to work with me, and they basically just wanted me as like an employee. They didn't want to treat me well. They would get mad if I couldn't meet with them that day when they literally asked me that same day. They were so like unreasonable. So those are not the kind of people that a VA wants to work with. So it's just really important when you're hiring a VA to be respectful of their time and, like I said, their boundaries, and not expect them to just be available to take on any task at any given moment. They need some time to plan and prepare when they're juggling multiple clients. So that is something I think that's really important for people to know before they're considering hiring a VA.
That is huge right there. It is true. Most VAs are here on a contract basis. And it's same for me. I am also on a contract basis in OBM. And so we get to, because we're running our own business, we're doing our own shit, we get to decide, what our hours are, when we're working, when we respond to messages. We are not available 24/7 or at your beck and call. If you want someone like that, you get an employee. But even if you do, please treat them well. Whatever it is, be respectful of them. Yeah. So I do appreciate that's a great point as well. It's just being respectful of their time and their boundaries and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that everybody needs to know. And yeah, exactly. Like you said, hire an employee who's literally only going to work with you if you need that high level of support every day and, every day of the week. But that's not what a VA is for.
Oh my gosh. And that covers everything that we wanted to chat about today. Thank you so much, Stacey. I appreciate it.
Wow, that was so quick.
Yeah, fun. I love doing these. So to close things up, I would love for you to share where people can find you, how they can take the next step. They're ready for a VA and social media manager like your fabulous self. how can they get started with you?
That's so sweet. Thank you so much. If you want to follow me here on Instagram, my account is Stacey DeCaesar Creative, and my website is staceydecesarcreative.com. If you want to head over to my website, I have all of my services and my packages, everything about what I do on there, and on my website, as well as the link in my bio here on Instagram. You can book a call on my calendar, and we can chat about how I can support you in your business. So those are the easiest ways to reach out to me, through this Instagram account and my website. And my website's also linked in my bio
I
as
do
well.
have you tagged on a couple of the posts that I have to promote this as well. And when this goes out, you'll be tagged also, so people will be able to find your handle. And I do recommend going and following her. She shares such fun. I love you've been doing vlog style stuff recently. You've been doing your YouTube channel too. You've got some fall stuff that just went out. So highly recommend people that want to learn a little bit more about you, your personality, just how you live in this world, you know, which is an amazing way to get to know their personality. See if you click. Highly recommend going and checking it out.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for mentioning that. I did just start a YouTube channel recently. And yeah, exactly. Like Tinli said, I have it linked in my milkshake link in my bio. If you scroll to the bottom, once you click on the link, I have all my socials at the bottom, and you can click the YouTube icon and it'll take you to my channel. But I've been sharing a lot of my personal life over there, and I have a couple virtual assistant vlogs up as well, and virtual assistant related videos. If you want to check them out, I would appreciate your support over there. And thank you, Tinli, for supporting me. And I have you as well tagged on my posts that I had posted on here before this live. So I highly recommend everybody to check out Tinli as well and follow her here on Instagram and everywhere else, because your content is amazing. I'm blown away by it daily, and you make the best reels I've ever seen. And I've been loving your travel content too.
That means the world to me. I love that's one of the most common things I get, is that my reels are amazing. So that makes me so happy.
I love them so much. You put so much effort in, and you're so effortless with them. Yes, your reels are amazing. Amazing. I love them
so much to me. I really appreciate it. So yes, come check both of us out. We are lots of fun.
Of course. Yes, this was so much fun. I would love to do it again sometime, and I really, really appreciate you inviting me to do this. So thank you so much, Tinli. This is so much fun.
And thank you so much for coming on here. We had an amazing time. And yeah, for those watching the replay, give us a hashtag replay in the comments. Let us know if you have any other questions for us, whether it's for bringing on a VA or any questions related to building your dream team. And we are so thankful to have you here. Thank you, Stacey. Thank you, everyone watching. And we will catch you next time. Bye, Stacey. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have an amazing day. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.